Hello, hello, hello. It is Dr. G, and I'm wearing my shirt that makes me look like you can see right through me to the background. I think that's just so cool. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by that. So today I wanted to talk about the things that people just don't talk about when they have business. And we are so used to seeing the highlight reels of people. We're so used to seeing it. We're seeing the images that have been photoshopped or have a filter and everything looks pristine. The office is completely neat and everything is in order. And instead, what is actually happening is the complete opposite. And we tend to, as entrepreneurs, not reveal the ugly bits. And I feel like that's a little bit of a disservice to anybody who is trying to relate to us as human beings. And I feel like not revealing that secret, it's a secret, not revealing that actually hurts us sometimes. So I just want to talk about those things. I'm gonna have 5 things that I thought about that I was kind of like, probably should talk about these. So the first thing is epic fails. Every last person who has an idea, who is trying to implement an idea, who has a business, has had an epic fail, not once, not twice, probably multiple times. If you talk to people who are markedly successful, they will tell you that they tried many things and a lot of them did not work out. And it wasn't until they got to that one item that actually stuck that things started to turn around. I'll have to tell you that I have had a few epic fails, like really epic. And I'd have to say that at the beginning of the year, I tried some things in my business. I tried some things with the podcast that were complete failures, completely failed. But it is not the failures. You have to look at them as learning opportunities because as an entrepreneur, essentially, every single thing that you do is a learning opportunity. It is a way for you to see if something, it's almost like you do something or you try something and it's a filter. It is a sorter of basically it sorts the things that are going to work for your business. So you try something. Maybe I tried my hand at Facebook ads, and obviously I was not doing it correctly, and I did not get any result from that, and that was an epic fail. But what I learned from that was I now seek out people who are adept at creating and executing Facebook ads. And I will do my Facebook ads with such individuals. Because why? I understand and I know that I don't have that capability because I've tried it and it did not work for me. But I know that it works because I've seen other people utilize it and have success. So it was an epic fail, but it was a learning experience. And had you not tried it, you would never have known that that's not in your wheelhouse. That's something that needs to be outsourced. So epic fails, though they may hurt at the time, they actually are great lessons and teachers for how your path can be as an entrepreneur. The next one that nobody ever talks about is how not sexy a lot of things that we have to do every day is. So, for example, prospecting. So, reaching out to people and introducing them to your business. That's just not sexy, not something that I like doing. But I have to do that. If I don't do that, guess what? There are going to be no people involved in my business. There's going to be no one listening to my podcast or taking my podcast course or whatever it is, joining my tech company, being a part of my team, becoming a customer. Like no one's going to do it. And so if you have to be consistent with these not so sexy things like prospecting, which means you're literally putting yourself out there and you're asking people, hey, I have this amazing thing. Are you interested? Are you open to hearing more about this thing? And so that has never been something that I was good at. The other thing that I am really not good at is getting on the phone. So this is the next thing, you reach out and you find out if anybody's interested. Then the next thing you have to do is actually get on the phone with them and talk with them about your thing, your service, your product, whatever it is that you're selling, and talk to them about it. I'm so not good at that. I'm just not a salesperson. And I have to get that concept and that attitude out of my mind, because if I don't do the mundane things, the not sexy things like reaching out and following up, oh my gosh, following up is such a challenge for so many, but everybody says it. All of the people who are successful in entrepreneurship, in sales, in whatever you want to call it, they are all saying that the fortune lives in the follow-up. So by not following up, you're leaving money on the table. And so, this is not a sexy thing. Like, people don't talk about it. They're like, there's a grind involved here. Reaching out, showing your product, exposing people to your product, following up, it's like the same. But you have to do this, and it has to be done on a regular basis, or you will not make money. That is just the bottom line. And so, not sexy, but a truth, and something that people just don't talk about. The other thing, oh my, this is something that I have fallen prey to, and I know many people have fallen prey to this, but the precious. Okay, so we're thinking Lord of the Rings, we're thinking, the precious, that jewel, the ring. And what is that ring? That ring is shiny. Okay, it's shiny, it's attractive, it calls your name. That's what the ring does. And the shiny objects that are around us as business owners do the same thing. They call your name. So maybe it's a new app, or maybe it's a new product, or maybe it's something that claims that it's going to make your business more streamlined and more efficient. But it's like thing after thing after thing. And because you're not focused, because we're not focused, I mean, come on, let's just be real. We're not focused. Because we're not always focused, we tend to get distracted by the precious, by the shiny objects. And it takes us away from the money-making activities that are not sexy that I just finished talking about. The whole thing of reaching out, following up, getting on the phone, that whole thing, not sexy. The precious, looking here and there and looking at this thing and that thing, that is a distraction. And so a lot of times we don't talk about that, but that's the elephant in the room. The other thing is, we're all imposters. Don't get it twisted. Do not let Instagram fool you. We are all imposters. We all have some level of imposter syndrome, no matter how many accolades we have, no matter how much product we've sold, no matter how successful our businesses are. We all have imposter syndrome, and nobody talks about that either. We all, step out and we pump our chest, we put our shoulders back and we pump our chest forward, and we have this facade of confidence and that we are the authority and a thought leader in this area and blah, blah, blah. But really, deep down inside, guess what? We are just as insecure about who we are as the next person. So let's just put that out there. Let's acknowledge that, because that is a part of business. We all are imposters, and let's just acknowledge that. Let's not pretend like we're not, because we are. And then the last one is, this is a roller coaster. And anybody who tells you that going into business, whether you're opening up an Etsy store or you are doing direct sales or whatever it is that you're doing, if anybody tells you that it's not a roller coaster, they are flat out lying, because it is. It is an emotional roller coaster. It is a mental roller coaster, because it is not a sprint. It is not something that starts right now and it's done in 10 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever. It is a marathon that goes on for not just days or weeks or months, but usually by the time you actually start seeing success and seeing continuous momentum in your business, we're talking about years. So when you jump on board and you get started, you're all gung-ho and you may not realize that the thing is a long haul. It is not a sprint. So the sooner you pick up on that, the better off you'll be. And the sooner you tell your people that, so people you're bringing into your company, people that you're bringing onto your team, the sooner you tell them that there will be bumpy bits and that it's okay, we all go through it, the better. Because if you set people up to think that it's going to be easy, that, oh, if you just do this and this and this, you will get it. You'll have this huge team. You'll have all this residual income coming in. You'll, be able to sell all this product. You'll be able to do all of this stuff. If you pump them up, you're setting them up for failure. And if they fail, that's a corollary to your own failure. And that's not the kind of failure I'm talking about in number one, which is the epic fail that you learn from. That is like bad. So, oh, hey, Dr. Gardner, thank you for popping by. And so she says, yeah, imposter is a big one. Absolutely. And so, I just wanted to go over these because it's been on my heart and I just know it. Like, I feel like a lot of times we don't give full disclosure. Like, we don't really paint a realistic picture. Like, even right now on this live, there's a background here, right? And that background, it looks nice. But if I were to move the camera, you'd see that I have a green screen. And my green screen ends right there, right? You can see my green screen. I can't get my finger there, but my green screen ends right there. And then you have my concrete wall of my basement. So, it's the same. We have to show behind the scenes sometimes. We have to be real and just let it out. Let people know what we're really about, because that's when we're going to realize that we're human. And that's when you're going to see the breakthroughs in your business. And that's when you're going to get more people attracted to you, because you just will. People want to see people who are real. So let's just go through those things that we just don't talk about. Number one was the epic fails, which I said are actually lessons that we learn and gives us direction in our business, right? And I gave you the example of what happened with me with the Facebook ads. And then doing those things, eating that frog, like Brian Tracy says, and doing those things that are quote unquote not sexy, like reaching out and following up and getting on the phone and sharing about your business. Like, these are all things that are not sexy. They're not fun. They're not like, I don't know, going to the conventions or doing the parties or whatever it is. But those things aren't fun. But guess what? If you don't do those things, particularly if you don't do the follow-up, which I am very guilty of, if you don't do the follow-up, guess what? You're leaving coin on the table. You're leaving the fortune behind in that follow-up that's not done. And then number three is the precious. So, trying to, take your eyes off of the prize, avoiding not having to do the things that are not sexy by grabbing onto the shiny objects that come by, that are pulling you away from those income making activities, right? Income producing activities, like, pulls you away from that. And there are so many of them, and it's constant, and it's really hard for somebody like me who has a very short attention span. And then we are all imposters. So let's just acknowledge it. Let's just put it out there. And so that it's completely clear that no matter how far we've come, no matter how high we rise, we're all imposters in some way. And there's always going to be some insecurities. So just recognize that. And then last but not least, this is a roller coaster. This is not a sprint. This is not a situation where it's super easy. You start a business, boom, next couple of days, you're rich. Nope, doesn't work like that. And it takes a long time, sometimes even years before you start seeing a breakthrough. Oh, hey, Dr. Apaya. Thank you for joining from YouTube. Awesome. Awesome. Yes. And so, it's definitely, a lot to think about when you're starting your business. And it is a beautiful thing to have your own business. It's a beautiful thing to be an entrepreneur. It is just something that you should step into with your eyes wide open so that you are not easily thwarted and you don't give up and jump ship quickly, that you will stick with it because you know it's a marathon and not a sprint. And you know there's going to be a roller coaster, and you know that you're going to have to be eating that frog, like Brian Tracy says, and you know that there are going to be lessons learned from epic fail. So, on my heart to share tonight, and I hope that this was helpful to you. This is Dr. G, and I hope that you will be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness. And if you're on YouTube, by the way, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, as well as share it with a friend. I appreciate you. Oh, hey. Hey, Hawa. Thanks for joining.